Welcome back to another episode of Morning Coffee. I'm your host, Rick Alexander. Today we opened registration for the newest Clarity Academy. That is a 12-week online course designed to teach you exactly who you are and what you want out of life. We turn the lens inward. We look at many different levels of you, from your personality to your value set to your goals. We really do a deep dive into you and what you really want. And most people, I find, get the life that they want and find that they don't actually want it that much, which ironically enough is what we're going to talk about on today's show. But if you are interested in that, you can go to rickalexander.com or hit me up at rickalexander_ on Instagram. That's for the group option. So the way that works is you are going to work through this curriculum at your own pace. And as long as you're in the course, I'm going to hold coaching calls once a month. And if you are in the course, you're welcome to jump on a call and we can work through everything that you're dealing with. And then if you want to make it a little bit more specific, then you can hit me up and we can talk about the interview process to jump into the one-on-one program. I do have an interview process just because I do want to make sure, one, that you're committed to the growth, and two, that it's a good fit for you because the price tag is quite a bit higher. And I want to make sure that you're going to get what you came for out of it. So all of that to say, my flagship course, the Clarity Academy, is officially open, and I'm hoping to see you on the inside. Without further ado, here's today's show. For most of my life, I've set goals and done whatever I could in order to accomplish them. This heads-down approach to life has caused a bit of collateral damage along the way, but honestly, it's mostly worked out. Just not in the way that I thought it would. Somewhere along the way, I found the personal development industry, and I really committed myself to doing what I had to do in order to get what I wanted. I adopted the habits, I pushed my growth, I stayed uncomfortable in the pursuit of what I wanted. The only problem was that every time I got what I wanted, I either came to the conclusion that I didn't really want it, it wasn't what I thought it would be, or it didn't provide the feeling that I imagined it would provide. For a decade of trying earnestly, what I found that I got was relationships I wasn't committed to or entertained by, jobs that I put my hope in but would eventually let me down as I realized the day-to-day never measured up to the glamour that I thought, or finish lines that made me miss the moments leading up to them. Oddly, the moments where I couldn't wait to finish. Unsure why my own desires for life seemed to send me in circles or fall so flat, I would look around for answers, and for one reason or another, I always felt like the answer was more. No one cares, work harder. That's the narrative that I replayed in my head over and over. In that spirit, I did more. I accomplished more, I got to more finish lines, I worked out harder, I worked more hours. I did more of everything pretty much, except sleep and enjoy myself. The reason that all that glitters isn't gold and the grass isn't greener is because as humans, we don't know what's gold and what's green. Like, we can't define it very well. When we look out into the world, we create a picture of success in our minds, but that picture is only part of the story. We're chasing half-cocked solutions with all of our being, and the result is a noticeable feeling of lack. You know, the abs on Instagram that we think of as an example of successful hard work could have easily been built off of self-loathing. The Lamborghini, final rental off a sinking credit score. The relationship goals are a snapshot of a moment in time. One moment later, they could easily be right back to fighting about shit that neither of them care about but can't seem to let go of. When you treat life as if it's somewhere to get, you find that you aren't very fond of that place once you arrive. We think that we want a known end with a sunset and a privileged horse, but the truth is, we'll hate it even if we get it. Given the chance, 9 out of 10 humans would tear apart the postcard scene they are working toward just so that something interesting would happen. And this isn't out of pure malice, although most of us do have a healthy dose of that we haven't addressed. It's actually because what we really want is a fantastic surprise. We want an adventure where life reveals its hidden depth to us, and as a result, we become more than we ever could have imagined. More loving, more capable, more resilient, more of what we'll never be able to define but know that we are. We want to be astounded, and we want to meet someone along the way that is just as much of a mystery to us as we are to ourselves. Every ounce of us has evolved for this. The right hemisphere of our mind works in concert with the left to drum up solutions that didn't previously exist. Our bodies carried our ancestors across the world on paths that didn't exist, and our capabilities developed as a byproduct of resolve. In the early years, our resolve wasn't tested by choice. We're a potent combination of wit and work, capable of outlasting and outthinking the rest of the food chain. We followed our own curiosity and used our own adaptable nature in order to find creative solutions that would allow us to eventually industrialize and hospitalize our world. Unfortunately, somewhere along the way, our ambition outpaced our wonder, and we decided that we knew what was best, not just for ourselves, but for the rest of the world as well. The fear mechanisms that we relied on for continued survival became bastardized as we pointed it toward the many metrics that we've equated with success. What I would submit to you is that all of the best parts of your life came as a result of the unknown. Often, even the opposite of what you wanted. The breakup or loss of a job that turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to you, the unanswered prayer that you know you would hate if you now had, and the surprise encounters that turned into lifelong friendships that are as close to family as you could ask for. These are what life is about. See, we're trying to control the adventure when in reality, that is the part we're here for. If we want to maximize this shot at life, we should put our emphasis for control on the adventurer and embrace the path. We often don't, because in order for the opportunity for a fantastic surprise, we also have to open ourselves up to its counterpart, a fantastic disaster. Fantastic used pejoratively, and disaster used to describe, well, a disaster. But this is life's price, and you have to be willing to pay it if you want the outcome to be better than you could have imagined. See, you're going to get what you want in this life. Your deepest desires will manifest because you're going to live them out. The problem isn't getting what you want, the problem is wanting what you get. Oftentimes, you have to let go of what you want in order to get what you could have. You also have to risk the occasional catastrophe. But I'd contend that those are going to come regardless of how you live your life. Anxiety right now is higher than it's ever been, affecting 40 million adults in the United States and growing. Anxiety is fundamentally caused by the unknown. Due to our finite nature, there's an unknown element in life that will never go away. See, our rising anxiety isn't because there's more unknown now, it's because we've tricked ourselves into thinking that our lives are controllable. What we need is a positive relationship with the unknown if we want our anxiety to subside. Throughout history, we continuously observe that the unknown, while holding all of our greatest fears, is also our deliverance from a subpar life. It is only through continuously answering the call to adventure that heroes consistently redefine what we think of as possible. In fact, almost all of the world's belief systems and cultures today were created by pioneers that didn't seek to control the end, but rather decided to travel the noble path of the unknown. In the Bible, all of Israel was created as a result of Abraham answering his call to leave the town that he knew. God told him to bounce, but not at all what the plan was. In the East, Buddha left his path of being a prince to pursue the meaning of life. He left all of the luxuries to wander the street, effectively retiring from life, to use a culturally appropriate term. I grew up idolizing Huckleberry Finn because Mark Twain knew that courage and curiosity were the makings of a good life, not control and safety. The point is, we tend to live our lives today in a way that stamp out all of the parts that make it worth it. We've created a risk-averse culture that, to borrow a line out of my newest book, tremble at the thoughts of their own dreams. We spend our days architecting our future and controlling every possible downside, and as a result, we lose track of any upside. Set your aim, establish your goals, but then learn to hang on loosely. It could be that you're meant for more than you can conceive with your limited knowledge and your growing fears. Learn to let life live through you, just as much as you live life, so that you might open yourself to the possibility of what else might be true. Most of us personify the monkey that can't have a cookie because his balled up fist is stuck inside of the jar as he grasps all of the cookies at once. The cookies you're currently holding represent all of the perceived intangible success metrics that you've built up in your head over time. You're trying to gain validation, safety, comfort, success, and God knows what else. And you'll have to let those things go if you ever want the intangibles that you're meant for. Love, belonging, passion, and a future that is by definition greater than you with all of your grasping could imagine. That's at least what I've noticed in my own life. I love you guys. Have an amazing Monday. Hope you make it an adventure. We'll talk tomorrow on Morning Coffee.